Hello, dear student. I welcome you once again to Social Studies in Standard 8. Remember, as I tell you, Social Studies is about the issues that affect our society. How many things can you remember that we have discussed so far that really affect our society? Just for example, last time we were looking at budgeting. Do you think budgeting is important to you? Are you really affected by the budget, your budget, the government budget? Are we affected? You find that the answer is yes. Where there is no budget, people are affected. Even yourself, you get the money, spend it all without budget, tomorrow you need another money because you didn't plan well. So, in almost everything, every unit that we have been looking at, ask this question. Are there things that affect our society in this unit? Then you really see that indeed we are looking at social studies. Now, before we proceed, as usual, let me come with me. Let me show you where we are going. Remember, last time I told you that we are done with this first column. Today, we are proceeding with the right column now. We are starting on unit number 14. On unit number 14, what are we looking at? We are looking at the Malawi Revenue Authority, but the journey still goes on up to the end here. The work that you see here, this whole work is for you in Standard 8. As you know, in Standard 7, there is social for Standard 7, Standard 6, Standard 5, like that. Therefore, you need to stay focused. Pay much attention, one unit at a time. Where you don't get it properly, go back. That's why we have created this work so that you go back and consult the video. Because to the teacher, you cannot go today, I have forgotten what you said last time. Then maybe the first time he can assist you. Then you go the next time. Teacher, I've also forgotten the end result. The teacher is going to punish you. What kind of student are you? But your video is not going to punish you. It will play as many times as you want to get information. So use this opportunity for the success of yourself. Let us proceed. We are looking at Unit 14, that is the Malawi Revenue Authority. The Malawi Revenue Authority. So be there, stay attentive up to the end. The Malawi Revenue Authority, what is it? So to begin with, let's see to it that every country has an institution that is responsible for managing government revenue. In each and every country, there is an institution that is responsible for managing the collections of the government, that manages what the government can collect so that the government makes the budget on that and the government flourishes. So in each and every country, there is an authority, a revenue authority, given mandate, an institution given power to collect the money from different sources. So in Malawi, the institution that is responsible for managing government revenue is called Malawi Revenue Authority, or abbreviated to Malawi Revenue Authority, abbreviated to MRA. So MRA is the abbreviation for Malawi Revenue Authority. And it is this institution that is mandated to collect the revenue for the government. Malawi Revenue Authority is responsible for assessment, collection, and accounting for tax revenue. That's where you need to understand very well. Let me read this again. Malawi Revenue Authority is responsible for assessment, collection, and accounting for tax revenue. MRA is there. It has got this responsibility. Number one, to assess where do we need to collect, revenue for the government. Number two, to collect. It is responsible to collect revenue for the government. Not only that, it is also responsible to account how much have we we collected from maybe the road users or whatever the sources that we are going to look at in this unit. So that is the responsibility. Remember the responsibility. Here we are not talking of the duties or the roles. We are talking of the responsibilities. What is it for? It is for assessing, collection, and accounting for the revenue. This is the responsibility. But let's look at the role in executing the responsibility. What is the role of the MRA? Number one is providing improved taxpayer services. Providing improved taxpayer services. So it provides taxpayer services to say, all right, how are you going to pay the taxes? Or when you buy things in the shop, soap, whatever, there is tax. That is an improved way of collecting the tax. And advising government on matters of tax policy. Also, the MRA advises the government to say, this time around, maybe if people can be there can be an increase or a decrease on the taxes that we are charging on people. It advises the government. So it's not like the government or the president comes today and says, from now on you are going to be charged 20% of whatever you get. No, it comes from MRA. They are the ones that suggest, that give the suggestions to the government to say, what if it raises a bit? Or what if we remove tax from this side? Or what if we add tax on this good? Like that. So MRA is there for that. But now, how does the government raise its revenue? That's the big question we need to answer. How does the government find money to run, to build roads, hospitals, and many other things? How does the government raise its revenue? Number one, it is through income tax. It is through income tax. And number two, it is through surtax. Number three, it is through customs duty. Number four, it is through excise duty. And number five, it is through loans. Then number six, through donations. Number seven, through tourism. Look at this. Look at these things. They are all the list. This is where you need to get more focus to see how your government is running. Our government is running on the money that is collected from these things that we are seeing here. So if we say government, how does it get money? Those are the things that you need to know. But now we need to know these things. How does they work? So we'll briefly talk about each and every thing that we have talked about here. Number one, the income tax. We have said that the government finds money through the income tax. What is this? This type of tax is collected directly on all forms of income, such as salaries, wages, rents, business profits, and interest. So on all the money that the people get on business, on work, and many other things that they do, that an individual gets from there is what we call an income tax. Directly on all forms of income, wages, salaries, rents, businesses, and all those things. So you can say, what's the difference between wages and salaries? A salary you receive at the end of maybe a month, a wages at the end of the stipulated job. Say, I work here, I'm going to pay you so much. That one, you get the wages in that way. So the rent, the businesses, all those things, then the government gets a certain percent of the income or the tax. Then there is this surtax. This type of tax is imposed on all goods already taxed. This surtax is put on goods that are already taxed. For example, today when you go to the shop to buy things, those things that you find in the shop, the government has already taxed them. But when you go there to buy again, then you are going to also pay tax on that one. That one is surtax. The surtax is the tax that is charged on top of the goods that is already charged. So government has already taxed this amount. When it goes to the shop, now there is also a surtax on that one. So that is surtax. Customs duty, this is the tax, this tax is collected from imported goods. When goods come from outside, there is the tax that is charged. That is called the customs duty. Customs duty. What about the excise? Excise, not exercise. Differentiate this. Excise. Excise is not exercise. So you have to differentiate the two. Exercise or excise. So this one is excise. Excise duty. So excise duty, what is it? This one, or this tax, is imposed on goods manufactured within the country considered as luxuries, such as cigarettes and liquor. So excise is the things or the tax that is charged on all the things that are manufactured in or within the country. That one, the government gets the excise duty from within. So custom, at the border. Excise within. Those companies that are making things, they are charged excise duty. We are saying that the government also has the revenues from the loans. So government may also borrow money from within or outside the country to assist it in carrying out its planned activities. There are some times when the government sees that, yes, we're going to collect the money, but to raise the money for this bigger project, we need maybe a period of 9 years. Then what is that? What if we borrow the money, then we're going to pay little by little as we collect the money from the taxes. So the loans. So the government gets the loan, for example, from IMF, from World Bank. We have ever heard that African Development Bank, the government borrows money from all those institutions. Apart from that, the government may also get donations. So the government may raise its revenue through receiving money from foreign countries. We have ever heard that, the American government has given a grant, a donation of so much billions. The government of China has given so much billions. Sometimes some other countries, they assist the governments, especially those that are poor, like our country. It has been poor for quite long, but now we are not poor anymore. So they get the donations from other countries. And also the country may use the donation for developmental activities, relief services, and payments for debts. So the donations may be used for relief services. For example, there are floods, people have been washed away, properties. Then the government comes in with the donations from outside for relief services. Sometimes for payment of debts, someone has donated to you, then you borrowed from someone again earlier on. Then you say, from this donation, part of it we pay the loan that we got. And also we said that the government also sometimes gets the money from tourism. So the government has beautiful centers or places, the country that can attract tourism. So we have beautiful places. What are these places? We have places like national parks, game reserves, on Lake Malawi. Have you ever been to Lake Malawi? Make a date to go there to Lake Malawi and see how beautiful it is. Hot springs and Mwanje Mountain and other mountains. So those scenarios, they attract other people just to see how beautiful they are. Then the government gets revenue from the tourists that they come, who come to Malawi. So when tourists visit these places, they bring foreign currency that support government budget. So when people come from outside, they bring the dollars, the foreign currency. Then that one again is very important to run the government, because the government needs to buy other things from outside. You cannot buy cars from Japan using Malawi kwacha. You have to change that money to dollars, then you buy that one in dollars. So tourists, they attract tourism attracts those tourists who bring the foreign exchange. We have looked at how the government gets its money. But now let's look at the use. What's the use of the taxes that the government gets? Number one, providing improved health services. Hospitals, health centers, they are there because of the taxes. That is the use of the tax. And also providing improved national security. We have the army always there standing 24 hours a day. We have the police. The support is from the revenue or the taxes that the government gets. And what about the challenges? What about the challenges that the Malawi Revenue Authority faces? Number one, tax evasion and smuggling. Tax evasion and or smuggling. Number two is tax evasion default. Now, these are the issues, main issues that the MRA is facing. Some people, they are smuggling things from outside, then they run away from paying the custom duty. They use other routes, then the government is not getting anything from there. Then sometimes there's other people who default. They're supposed to pay excise duty for the companies that manufacture things. You find that they don't pay that tax. They default. To default is to jump or to stop paying when you are supposed to pay. Then to fail to pay when you are supposed to pay. That is defaulting. So other companies default, others they run away from paying. What about the solutions? What are the solutions to these problems by MRA? Number one, carrying out advocacy campaigns. MRA needs to carry out the advocacy campaigns. And number two, making tax affordable. Also, there is need for the government to make the tax affordable. Not that taxes to be very high, then you find that people will run away. Why should I pay high taxes? Well, I don't have money. The only thing I have is these things that are going to give me money. So the taxes must be affordable, that people should be paying willingly without complaining. So how to carry out the advocacy campaigns? Advocacy means to speak publicly in support of an idea or intervention. So that is an advocacy. So in the case of MRA, if advocacy, that is a campaign speaking publicly about people paying the taxes, then the MRA, if advocacy campaigns on the importance of paying taxes are conducted intensively, more people would understand the importance of paying taxes. So if the MRA is moving up and down, telling the people the importance of paying the taxes, no matter how poor you are, no matter how rich you are, provided you have something that you are doing, you are buying, pay the tax, then the government is going to run smoothly. People are not going to run away to smuggle things or to default the taxes, because they know we live in Malawi. For this country to be called Malawi, it needs money to run. Where is it going to get the money? From us who are doing something to pay a little something with the tax. Even at church, you find that it is said that we have to pay the tithes. For the church to run, there must be the tithe, which the pastors must use so that they run the church for our spiritual well-being. So in that way, the government to run, it needs some taxes. The church needs tithe, the government needs the taxes. So these are the things that are required. So this far, we have come to the end of this unit. Remember what we are looking for? The Malawi Revenue Authority. What is it all about? The revenues, the taxes for the government to run the affairs of the government. We have looked at different types of taxes. We have also looked at how the government gets money in different ways. Finally, we have looked at the importance. What is the importance of paying the taxes, and also the problems that the MRI faces and the solutions to those problems? I guess you have been followed. If it happens that you miss it, go back, replay, you get everything. But before I leave you, as usual, here I am with the exercise. The exercise is here for you, and please pause a little bit for you to copy the questions and write them clearly. Good handwriting, show them to your teacher that you are doing this. But as we continue in Standard 8 Social Studies, next time is Unit 15. And Unit 15, we are going to look at the Constitution of the Republic of Malawi. The Constitution of the Republic of Malawi. Remember, when we were looking at the Roman civilization, we talked that the Romans have contributed to the laws that the countries are using. Even our country, Malawi, has got the laws which are called the Constitution. So let us look at the Constitution of Malawi. What is it? So be there in Unit 15 as we look at our own Constitution. I thank you so much for your attention, and until next time, thank you so much.